Perfect. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Wellness Warriors and Power Hour. We are here today to talk about joyous medicine, and we have special guests, Candice Treen and Abut Akaya. For those of you who don't know, I'm Keisha, and I'm founder of the Wellness Connection. And we're an integrative wellness platform with virtual services ranging from mental health therapy to live yoga and meditation, and a resource library with tools that you can download to build your wellness toolkit. So, without further ado, I want to introduce my special guest. We can start. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. So, I want to start with Abut Akaya. Um, I see your name there is Valerie. I was like, I didn't even know that was part of your name because I know you as a Budakaya. You're on mute.
Yes,
Okay.
give thanks. Give thanks. Thank you so much, Sacred Woman Keisha, for inviting me today to your platform in regards to the joy of medicine. And um, I am a Ubuntu high priestess of purification and purification rights. I've been on my wellness journey for half my life, 30 years or so, and I have supported and assisted and aided brothers and sisters in our community, and particularly Sacred Woman community, Smatawi community, for years. I started off in a 21-day fast and fell in love with detox and cleansing, and began my journey under the tutelage of our beloved sacred Moot, Queen Afua. And so I'm here today to support share in regards to the topic, the joys of medicine, sacred medicine. Give thanks. And one more thing. I'm also a natural hairstylist.
Oh my
I think you
gosh.
had that in
Yes,
the
we can't
flyer
forget that.
as well.
We can't forget
I want to
that.
acknowledge I've been doing hair half my life as well. So that is my niche. I generally support people as I stand behind a chair and I tell them what I see and what I hear in regards to their wellness and health as well.
Mhm.
Give thanks.
And I've seen some of your work on the sisters that in our community. Beautiful, as well as your own. Thank you. Candace, welcome.
Hello. My name is Candice Train. I'm a PhD student at the illustrious Morgan State University. My actual PhD dissertation initially started with the concept of biological homelessness, meaning like outside of being able to sustain housing, the disconnect that one feels. So through my journey for my dissertation, one of the professors actually said something to me that was very profound. He said, one of the most important things you will do for the work of your dissertation will be the work that you do for yourself. So, with me conceptualizing what actual work I needed to do for myself that wasn't, performative, I realized that I needed to be more intentional with the way in which I live life. So, when the concept of joyous medicine was introduced, it just connected automatically because essentially we connect happiness to monetary things. So essentially, if it's not money or a resource provided through the attainment of money, we don't find it to be as joyful. But what I've seen most recently is the ability to schedule joy without monetary connections. So whether that be going outside, being intentional and grounding, or finding peace and just having that mindfulness moment, being able to connect with myself very intentionally is actually a part of the dissertation work that I've been doing now. So now I'm trying to articulate that in an academic setting because what they have stated is that we need more Black researchers to tell our stories so that it can be implemented in a clinical manner for those who need it most. So I think the most impactful thing that I can do for my community is to begin to heal myself. And so that's a part of the journey that I'm taking, the part of the work that I am holding dear to my heart and a part of what has brought me here today. So I'm very excited about this opportunity.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for coming in. And I also want to give a chance to the other people who are joining us on Zoom to introduce yourselves if you feel called to. No pressure, no obligation. If you want to speak into the call and just say who you are and a little bit about why you're here.
Hey
Don't be
everybody,
shy.
this is
You
me,
didn't
Lady
see.
Someone, and I'm really glad to be here today, especially to hear about joy. One of my favorite topics, and I'm just really want to sit here and be in the corner and listen and hear what's going on for today. I'm just glad I made it, and I'm turning my camera off because finally eating breakfast.
Not breakfast at 2 o'clock.
Right?
Please eat your breakfast. Yes.
No, no. Thank you, ladies. I'm very glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you.
Give
Glad to
thanks.
have you.
Give thanks.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Cassandra Arnold, and my very good friend forwarded this to me. So I thought it was definitely important because as you go through life and the ups and downs, it's good to build a positive resilience so that you could get through all the ups and downs that are just inevitably going to happen. And so just hoping to, build on my toolbox of, you know, intentional positive um outcomes.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for that. I love when you said to build your resilience because I do a lot of times think of this as our armor because there's so many things coming at us sometimes from the outside that we don't have control over. And part of it, as you all have pointed out, is about cultivating joy within yourselves and building that armor within yourself before going out and doing anything.
I say, give
So when we
thanks.
hear the phrase joy is medicine, what comes to mind for you? And either you would you like to begin, Abudakaya, with that?
Yeah, sure. When we think of the phrase, say that again. When we think of the phrase joyous
The phrase
medicine,
joy is medicine, what comes to mind for you? Joy as medicine.
balance,
Mm.
balancing your internal body. Because if we balance our internal body, then our external body will show. It will show. When we're doing our internal work, or what some people call shadow work, or fasting, or cleansing the body, going in nature, um, immersing in uplifting and fortifying ourselves with the elements. To me, that is what brings joy. It helps to balance stress, anxiety, and any other heaviness or blockages that we may have picked up or are carrying whenever we're tapping into doing our internal work. Even external work, once again, grounding and things like that in nature. Um, it brings joy. It brings a sense of freedom, a sense of cleansing and clearing in your mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional space. So, give
Shay.
thanks. Mhm.
How about you, Candace? When you hear joy is medicine, what comes to mind?
When I hear joy is medicine, for me, the term medicine means to treat or to essentially resolve. So to medicate is to treat the ailment, and the connection that joy provides for that aspect is very direct. So I think, as you stated, not only a protective factor, but a factor of reclaiming, a factor of healing, a factor of preservation, essentially. And the concept of joy for me is distant from happiness because, happiness can come and go. But for me, joy is gratitude. Joy is being able to connect in that moment, to be peaceful essentially, and not even necessarily being peaceful, but to have peace in that moment essentially is for me the joy. So when I think about using that as medicine, I think of it with intentionality, with precision. So being able to, and I hate to use the term weaponize, but I think that's, I'm about to go off into a tangent because I think it's relevant. One of my professors said, because we have been in close proximity to Western construct, we innately have a white man in our head. So when we talk to ourselves and we try to rationalize things, there's a white man in your head who will redirect you and will try to make you think less of what you're saying because you cannot validate it under the constructs that have been provided. So when I was going to use the term weaponized joy, I didn't mean to cause harm, but I mean with radicalization. So to take joy and be just as adamant about it as people are with war. So when I hear joy as medicine, I think from a radical perspective, from the perspective that not many are able to conceptualize and understand that they have the strength to innately and tap into. So I think of it as autonomy. So regardless of anything that's happening, I'm able to use this joy that I'm able to procure as medicine to deal with anything that is brought to me or against me. So that's what I think about when I think about joy as medicine.
That's an interesting perspective, and it reminds me of a conversation we were having when I went to South Africa with the Black social workers, and Dr. Rhonda was part of it. And someone was speaking about rest as resistance. And my response was like, I don't understand why rest is resistance because that's something that's naturally a part of who we are. And if it's natural and normalized, how are we seeing it as being resistant? And her response was because the world we live in is saying something completely different. So it is resistance because we are resisting what the societal norm is. So I
I
definitely accept
identify
that.
with, I can identify with resistance. Everything I have down. What's good is bad, and what's bad is good, or what's positive is negative, and what's negative is positive. In the interim of, I would say, younger people, and it's celebrated, you know, and the simple things like eating fruit or juicing, it's becoming easy. At one point, there's a lot of resistance around that for yourself that make you feel good. um it's like, oh, you do that, you know, it wasn't celebrated. And those are the things that we need. Those are the exact things that we need to elevate ourselves, to keep our energy, and our mental, physical, and spiritual space is elevated, because the frequencies that are going on now are very low in vibration. The food is low in vibration. Most food is not real food. And so, what are we eating? What are we partaking in? What is resisted? You know, the thing that is resistant is what we're partaking in. The things that we see with our eyes, that's food too. You know,
Mm,
what we watch, what we consume through our eyes and our ears, that's food also. Everything is resistance. And anything that's easy, effortless, is looked at as being hard, like running a bath, creating a spa bath for yourself. It's like, oh, I'll do that. Like, oh, that's like that. That is a big thing with elevating our frequency, is intermingling and incorporating all of the elements, like breathing properly. We're not even paying attention to how we breathe. You know, we think we're breathing because we're living, right? But to breathe properly is something that most of us don't do because we have different levels of stress and pressure. We're not even consciously breathing. When you consciously breathe, if you're menopausal, you can get rid of your night sweats. We are stimulating our hypothalamus gland, so, and our thyroid gland, to breathe properly, to learn how to breathe properly, meaning breathing how we were naturally breathing when we were born. Infants breathe properly. Watch how an infant breathes. That's proper breathing. But as life goes on and things happen to us and traumas happen, we forget how to breathe. We don't even acknowledge the breath. But 5 minutes of proper breathing can lower your blood pressure. It gives you space to think, and your body is being properly oxygenated, thus retarding the aging process. But those things are looked at as small things, and there are people who resist that because I guess it's too easy or it sounds too easy. But those are the things that will help to keep us elevated. Those are the medicines that will help keep us elevated. And I often say, tapping into air, tapping into water, tapping into the earth, tapping into fire. These are things that heal us mentally, physically, and spiritually, and financially as well. So
Okay.
with that, I'm complete. Yes.
Yeah. So we know the importance of joy, right? We know how it supports us. Why do you think there's resistance to it? And I know you touched on this a little bit, Abudakaya. Um, Anything else you that comes to mind in terms of why it's overlooked or not prioritized?
Yes. I mean, it's a program. We're programmed not to, the simple things, we're programmed to chaos. We're
Mm,
programmed, most of the things in our environment is opposing. I'll say that for lack of a better word. It's opposing in a sense that it's training us to think a certain way. And it's generally the small things that mean a lot that are being swept under the carpet, and those are the very things that we need to tap into. So it's society, it's the people who put things on TV, who make the movies, who make the songs, that are in the industry that we listen to every day, not even intentionally. It could be subconsciously. There are things in our environment, there are things in our food. Our
mm,
food stuff, I call it food stuff because it's not really real food. And that's why I encourage, all of us to tap into a little garden, even if it starts out as like a little spice garden. Get into gardening. That's medicine. That's real medicine. It's been my experience that the resistance, anything that's positive, anything that's good, there's some resistance there because we're being trained otherwise in our society, that those things are taboo. If burning incense is taboo to some people. If you have candles in your house, that's taboo. But these are all things that are part of nature and our culture that we're uplifting. So
okay.
I hope that answers your question.
It does. Letting go of some of that conditioning and programming and reprogramming ourselves. Definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Candace, I know you had your hand up for a second. You don't have to put your hand up since you can speak into the call.
Oh, yes. I kind of forgot the question, but I think I remember what I want to say, and we can just see if that answers the question. Because sometimes
It
my
will answer
mind.
a question, even if it's not that question.
Yes. So I think it was along the lines of why it's not necessarily highlighted or there's resistance upon using these measures. I think it's two factors. One is a protective factor, and another one is a conceptualization factor. So innately, there's a level of spirit. You know how they say faith is blind. There's some things that are felt and must be observed for the individual. And as a people, we have been able to tap into that. That's part of the ancestral knowing that we presented on um, during the presentation. But the second factor for me is the research factor, which is why I'm also like adamant about research, pattern recognition, being able to document, tell her story because it's very important. Um, there isn't enough research, and the research that is attempting to be conducted in this area comes from Western construct. So if you're looking for A, B, and C, but D, E, F is where we're focusing, you're not going to be able to be on the frequency to even conceptualize the right questions to ask. How is this manifested in this community? One thing that I want to pride ourselves on, even as we look at the experiences of African American people, we have always been very joyous. So much so that they say we make the struggle look fun. They want to be down so bad that they don't even know we down. So I think that innate knowing that we have, and them not being able to, one, control it, and two, define it, leaves them to lack the interest necessary to represent it, to document it, to tell the story about it, because there's no point of connection. So if you aren't able to connect to that point, then the story that you tell is not authentic to the people. So while you may have documented what you saw, you did not document the experience of those people. The other part, and this is the protective part, and that's what I'm trying to like balance with myself in my PhD. Some things are sacred. Some things you have to be initiated in, and not in a sense of gang, but life. You have to go through things to feel that. You don't know joy if you've never felt pain. And I mean real pain, the kind where you call out to God, the kind where you seek outside of yourself and then have to go back into yourself, not because you want to, because that's where spirit told you to go. So when we talk about joy, the joy that we feel, it's from the pain that we've experienced. There was this video I was watching, and he said a tree grows in two directions simultaneously, but we only ever see the leaves. But the root system is just as intricate as the leaves that you see in the light. So what grows in the darkness is what you see in the light as it manifests. So you're looking at my light, but don't want to account for where my darkness came. So you will never feel me or experience the joy that I've had because you haven't been where I've been. And my people have gone there, came back, and we still dancing the whole way through. So when we talk about joy as medicine, it's that innate ancestral medicine that comes through us that our ancestors know we need before we ever even recognize it. Because one thing we gonna do, and they talk about it in therapy, we gonna make a joke out of something. I don't care if something horrible done happened. Grandmama died. We still gonna have a key. There was this video of this guy at his grandfather's funeral, and he hit the my granddaddy, the Tyler Perry, and it was so ancestral that everybody just started laughing. Like we're in this moment, we are seriously hurting, but that right there was funny. That right there resonated to my
That's
soul because I know
true.
what you meant. I knew
That's
your
so
intention. But
true.
somebody else seeing it be like, now why he did that? Yeah, because you wasn't invited to the cookout. You ain't been through nothing. You don't know where that resonate from. You ain't seen a deal with your family. You know what I mean? So that's my perspective of it being medicine and us being
I
the
agree.
prescribers, the one who can sign the pad and authorize the prescription. It's self-written.
Great,
Thank
thanks. That
you.
was beautiful too. By the way, I just wanted to interject. I'm from Baltimore, so you my homegirl.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that.
Yes,
I
Divine
love that.
alignment. So I'm just gonna share that when I reached out, I know Abu Akai is always sharing all the tools, and she's leading and guiding women and utilizing the tools. So that was a no-brainer. And then I met Candace for about an hour. She did a presentation. She co-led a presentation at the Black Social Work Conference. Um, and we didn't have much of a conversation. We did speak a couple of weeks ago, on the phone, but her energy, like
she's a
what you just
powerhouse.
witnessed, this was like the whole hour, and she just was just like, I felt everything, like everything she puts out, it just vibrates and you can feel it. And I was just like, oh no, we have to, we have to connect. I was like, I think I said to you, I said, I need you in my life. Like, I just need to hear your voice every now and then and just hear you speak. Yeah. So
I
I
appreciate that. I received that. Thank you for that.
Um,
Thanks.
so we're talking about the conditioning and how sometimes it impacts us and our ability to tap into what brings us joy. So how do you think we can do that without how do we tap into this? How do we release some of this conditioning and be able to um exist in our joy, be in our joy without guilt?
Um,
For me, I think this is very important. It starts with the naming. Even as we talked about the ancestral memory, we have to be truthful in the naming. If we are not truthful with what we're dealing with, we cannot work towards a solution. We have to first start saying that this is a problem, a real problem, and it's not our problem. Let's stop taking on other people's problems because there's a difference between your problem and my problem, and that's the willingness to resolve it. If I'm trying to fix your problem and you're not, then it's really not a problem. I'm just spinning my wheels. But if I name that problem, I identify that problem, and then I work towards resonating and resolving that problem, then seamless process. Because, like you said, we're sovereign beings. I know how to control me. It's you that can't control you. So when I'm able to understand and conceptualize what I'm really dealing with, like, oh, I'm not going crazy. Actually, y'all are the problem. Actually, I'm not supposed to be working 8 hours. Actually, the school system is failing. Actually, everything is wrong. I'm
Hmm.
still just trying to make right out of it. And that's what Dr. Shirley was talking about as well. When does resilience become complacency? Because resilience only matters when the system is operating. Oh, you survived what we put you through. Yeah. The point is I wasn't supposed to survive it. So now with the aftermath, there's really no resolve for me. I'm in a place that I was never meant to be in. And that's a part of the biological homelessness. You meant to exonerate me, extinguish me, genocide. I am everything. I'm a representation of everything you tried to kill. And I'm gonna ask you to fix my problem. That's not, it's not even
yes,
able to be
that.
conceptualized in a thought process because we've already negated the truth. So when we jump to trying to fix a problem with the individuals who may be causing the problem, and I say individuals in regards to because this is very systematic at this point. So it's not even just one person, two person, or these people over there. This operates innately. It's by design. And this design has been working so long that people don't even see where the design ends and the people start. So I use that term loosely, but us as individuals, sovereign beings, we understand the tools of our capacity. We understand how to name them. It's not for anyone else to validate. I know what has worked for me. I know what has brought me to this point. I know what has made me resilient. When I name those factors and I hold true to that, that is a powerful process in beginning. That is a powerful point of conceptualization because then I can say what worked from there and what did not. If you can't name your enemies, you don't know who your friends are. And that's important because if you're going to be an enemy to yourself, you have to identify that you are your biggest problem. And that's where a lot of us are. We still think it's somebody else.
Hmm.
That part. I appreciate you saying that. That was the first thing I thought about, being true to you, being honest with yourself, which a lot of people, they don't want to see who they are. They run from who they are. They don't want to see. They don't want to see the good, the bad, the ugly. They just want to see the good. And these people, a lot of people are that way. Even us. Like, there are certain things about, speak for myself. There are certain things about me that I know I need to address. And there's some things that I have addressed, and I need to requalify. And it's like you can never get tired of requalifying what's true to you and what's true about yourself, good, bad, or different. You can never tire of unfolding in your truth, because as you unfold in your truth, you're going higher and higher in your healing. You're pulling away and sloughing off all of the muck and mire of the things that you trained to do or have been brought up with, the traumas, the other people's ideas and conceptions. A lot of things, we were all born babies into a world and society that was already here. And who's to say what's right or wrong? It may have been right for your grandmom, our grandmothers, but not our mothers. And maybe we even see further than that. Each generation should be more evolved than the next. I am my grandmother, I am my mother, but I'm the best parts of them. So I'm gonna slough off, pull away all the ancestral stuff. And some of it, I don't even know it's ancestral. But I know that there's an issue here that I need to address because it's keeping me from moving or elevating my mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional and financial body. There's blockages everywhere. And whether you know where they come from it not, you have to acknowledge them and be honest with yourself, be true to yourself to get through it. That's the first step. So give thanks, Candace, for sharing that. You put it so
Ashe.
eloquently.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna
Yes.
reiterate because it was already said, but right, you are not gonna experience the joys if you don't experience the lows, right? You need to acknowledge and recognize the lows to experience the highs. Otherwise, we're just flat and we don't feel anything, you know? So acknowledging all parts of ourselves and not trying to stifle it or hide it. When I work with clients in therapy, a lot of times I'll get I'm sorry, I'm crying. You're in therapy, like what you supposed to be doing, right? And the discomfort with just even experiencing that emotion, I'm like, it's an emotion. It's not a bad thing. Like crying is not bad. There's nothing wrong with crying, and people don't want to talk about things because it's going to trigger a feeling you're supposed to feel, right? And trying to stifle those feelings are not helping. And if you don't want to feel something, the quickest way to feel it is to try not to feel it, right? If I say don't talk about the pink elephant or don't think about the pink elephant, what are you thinking about? The pink elephant. Like, so we need to just acknowledge that it's there. We can't stop the feeling or stop the thoughts. So let's acknowledge it and figure out what to do with it, how to work with it. Mhm. I just want to
I
check
always
in.
say opposition is my friend.
Our position is,
Opposition can be a friend.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And pain is there for a
yeah,
reason, right?
opposition. Yes. So I misheard what you were saying, but I was saying opposition can be your best friend if you don't look at it in a negative way. If you look at it in a way that is balanced, you can stand on that. Like
Hmm.
every trauma that has ever happened to us, every person who has hurt us has come to teach us something about ourselves.
Yes.
It's like when we get caught up with the physical eye instead of looking past, well, what is this trying to teach me? Or why is this person acting like that? It's for us to observe sometime and not necessarily respond. And so opposition is a very real thing. It's something that's really popular right now in a lot of people's lives. Opposing forces working in and around them, people who are, doing things, or they are allowing people to do things to them. But opposition, we need opposition once again, like Candace was saying, in order to appreciate the joy.
Hmm.
We can't appreciate happiness if we don't have sadness. They kind of work hand in hand, even though they're on two different polarities or spectrums. They have a happy medium somewhere, and so it's up to us to be honest with ourselves, to be true to ourselves, and find a happy medium. Is this something that I need to be responding to, observing? Is this something that I need to really just sit with and look at from a different viewpoint, not just with my physical eyes, but look past it to get the lesson. Training yourself to look past something, because nothing is happening to us just to be happening. It's happening so that we could gain or get something from it. And it should be positive, especially if it's in opposition. So you want to thank all those people that kicked you to the curb. You want to thank all
Right,
those people who did you wrong or did you dirty. They were your best and biggest teachers.
right,
They were
right.
your best teachers.
I say,
They came to teach you something about you.
yeah.
So, with that said,
You just remind me of two quotes that I love, and one, Sister Jonelle says this all the time. It's not happening to us, it's happening for us, right? Things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. It's for your growth, it's for your learning. And the other one that I've heard a while back, it was without the darkness, you couldn't see the stars, right? We need both. Right?
you need both. And
And I
there's a
think that's
balance.
very important to frame it like that because so what, like, touch on many different levels, but I'm trying to stay consistent with my thought because I have a tendency to go off on tangents.
I love
What
your tangents.
I know because they're all related, and I be telling people that like people be talking about ADHD. No, I'm a pattern recognizer, and I'm good at the patterns. I see y'all not about to play with me, okay? But irregardless, so when we look at how Western societies construct things, it's very much from an individualistic perspective, but they got the right math wrong implementation. So they say individualistic as it pertains to community. So pull yourself up by the bootstraps, put all these different things that you're supposed to do in a communal way, they have individualized them. But ancestrally, we have very much been accountable as the individual, irregardless of what anybody else is doing. I think it's like 48 laws of my, like the laws of your heart. You know, as an individual, what your responsibility is to be. It's not for you to tell anybody else what they're doing or whoever may have you, but to still be responsible for the community thereof. Thank you. 42. So when we talk about the
42.
our ability to be accountable or iron sharpening iron, that's not new for us. We've never ran from a problem. We have very much been warrior people. But people think that when you choose peace, you have no capacity for war. So when we have been given the wrong platform to go to war, we go to war with ourselves. And unfortunately, but fortunately, it's still iron sharpening iron because I have no problem with me. So if it's a problem, I can attack the problem, even if it's within me. So I said that to say when we talk about energy and cosmic levels and how things exist and planes of existence, the sun is more of a gravity pull. The core of the earth is magnetic. So you're pulled in two directions constantly. So when we talk about that middle plane of existence, we're in the sweetest spot that you can literally existence as a person. This is made for us. This is our realm. This is the way in which we were made to exist. So when we talk about fluctuating between that, the moon pulling the water waves, and we always are moving, but it's still having that groundedness within us to be able to exist as a people. So when we go against the cosmic alignment of things, the individual alignment of things, the community alignment of things, and things are in such a disarray, only we will be the ones to be able to put it back into the alignment that is needed for us to exist as a people. But that's how you said is by fully being engulfed in the disarray. You cannot derive the solution for the problem that you have not fully existed in. So the best we can do is to fully exist in the problem that we have today in our authentic self. The misconceptions that we have to communicate them because the difference as I stated earlier between me having a problem and you having a problem is how many people talk about it. That's the difference between a public issue and a private one. How many people done told y'all we having this problem? So it's our ability to be transparent first and foremost with ourselves to stop lying, that we can come out authentically to the community and stop lying to then get to the solution of that. We have to go through the process. We have to take that iron and allow it to sharpen us. And some of us won't make it, but that's respectful in its manner. That's fine. That's okay. That's the journey of self. But to understand that this is a real reality that we have to deal with first starts with, us.
I say.
Mhm. That part. She is so segment right now. That's all I'm gonna
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
So
Like I'm
segment
all hot
healing
now
warrior
too.
woman
I'm emotional. If we going to war or not?
from
Y'all ready to
Maryland,
ride?
from
Feel
That
like Candace.
Baltimore. You know we bring the
Hey
heat.
y'all, I'm telling you, I'm mad I missed it. But I don't get me started. There'll be some pink pandas running around here.
Pink
Love and
Panther.
friendliness, but capable of war.
See,
Pink Panthers. I love that.
yes. Because we're at war right now, and we don't even realize we're at war. What's happening right now in the world is it's a frequency war right now. With all the technology and things like that. So we have to take our superfoods. We have to tap into our superfoods because the food that's in the supermarket is not superfood. It's dead. It's sprayed with chemicals. So we have to fast. We have to detox. We have to do our internal cleansing every so often, and we have to do it properly more often than not right now in order to keep our frequency elevated. And that's real talk. I get uploaded all the time. Try this, do this to get people um coerced in nature and doing more things in nature and connecting with nature and eating more natural things like your sea mosses, your ashwagandas, your spirulinas, your wheatgrass, your moringa powder, your maca powder, your mushrooms. We need to be taking that in every day in order to sustain ourselves and to feed our body, because we're losing so much every day when we tap into these low vibrational, low frequency food and also medicine or medication. We're losing. And so you find more people that are off kilter mentally and emotionally. And then they're watching Housewives, something Housewives, they fighting. So it's low frequency. Everything just about in our environment that's being pushed on us. The news, low frequency. You, the programming, how they're programming us, and particularly our children. They don't want us. They want us to be with each other. They want woman with woman, man with man. Where's the procreation in that? You know, women aren't having babies. Our great grandmothers and great grandmothers wasn't nothing for them to have 10 children, 15 children. But now if you have three, oh, she got too many babies. You have four, oh my God, what is she doing? Can she afford that? That's so I celebrate any woman that has over 5 children, over two, 3 children. I say that, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, having babies,
And you're exactly right.
procreating.
And that's what
But
they
the
were scared of. That's what the system was designed to do, to stop us from having children. So when they talk about the people not having children now, they're talking about the white people not having children, because they are made to be the next minority coming up. Hispanics are on the rise and are looking to be the next predominant population here in America, regardless of what people are aware of directly or indirectly. So there's an innate threat against them. But that's why I said naming is important,
that's
because
why
when
they're
you
mating with us.
exactly. And when you understand,
They
that's
need this. They need this. My skin is not that dark. I'm a little diluted, but they need melanin to
to be able
survive
to
in this.
exist as a people. But they want to, and that's why I said controlling the mind as opposed to controlling the body, because they are already have the systems in place for you. Because what people don't understand, it's not your ability to make a decision, it's your ability to create a pattern, a routine. So you're loyal to your routine. So if you're able to create a better routine for yourself, you'll be able to create a better outcome, not only for yourself but your community. So that's why everything is so based around routine. Social media, I had this come to me as well when one of the videos, whatever. People don't understand when there was just darkness, and before we had lights, like the actual light bulb, there used to be fires. Fires were how we were able to maintain communities. At nighttime, people got around the fire, they story told, they dreamed, they looked up at the stars. There used to be two sleeps. Initially, people thought that it was an 8 hour cohesive sleep through. No, there was called first sleep and second sleep. People went to sleep initially when the sun went down, and they woke back up in the peak hours, which is why Muslims pray in the middle of the night. When some people do rakats and different things like that, it's like people didn't conceptualize that there was a period during the night in which you were to go be with spirit, essentially, where you were to dream. With technology, not only did they erase that with the light, they have then hijacked that into social media. So when you look at your phone, you engage with your devices, your brain doesn't know that it's nighttime now. So that imagination, that process that you would naturally go through, is not even initiated. They've erased it, eradicated it essentially. But it's one of the most powerful things that you can have as a human, because even in some, I'm going to say some religions, because I haven't studied all religions, the 3 o'clock hour, that early hour, is God's hour. That's the time when you resonate with the God of self. So when we talk about these systems and the way in which it's being implemented, We look at it
Yes.
as isolated incidents. It's not
Hmm.
isolated. It's very intentional. They have took the knowledge and they have constructed it for their own benefit to create their own system. But they underestimated the system of spirit. It's ancestral. Water remembers, body remembers. Your
Yeah.
your body holds score. So you can gaslight me into saying these things never happened. You can try to manipulate me into being conform to whatever algorithm that you have placed upon me of my interest. But that innate spiritual why, because I'm a why person. That's why I gotta be, because why? Why? That's all I, and the whys was never
I
making
agree with you.
sense. I'm still asking why. Why we gotta live like this? Why y'all wanna do that? I'm cool with y'all doing y'all thing, but it's starting to impact me now. Y'all, hold up, is it me or is it y'all? And long as I keep finding out it's them and not me, I'm cool because I knew I was never the problem. I never was the problem.
Right.
So,
Can I can I
oh
just
yes,
make a suggestion? Have you ever heard of the book Behold Pale Horse, Pale White Horse?
I have not, girl.
Behold
Give
the
me
Pale
that.
White Horse. My client grabbed this off my shelf yesterday, and he told me, he was like, "Is this the old ver? Is this the old version or the new version?" So this is the book, and they have it on YouTube too. But he told me, he said that if that's the original one, then it's worth a lot of money, because what they did was they took out the part with vaccines, because everything that's in this book is happening right now. Everything. And I tell people to read this book, but they did revise it, and the author is no longer with us. He knew he was out when he wrote this book. He knew he was, sacrificing himself. But this book right here, it lets you know every agency that's doing specific things to keep our frequency low. I'll put it like that. And he said they took out the chapter when they started talking about the covert thing. I say covert for a reason. So this right here, this book right here, Behold the Pale Horse by Bill Cooper or William Cooper. William Cooper is a must have, and it's still relevant even though they took out certain things. It's still relevant, and you can even listen to it on YouTube. It's on YouTube too.
I definitely am writing that
It's a
down. I
one
look
part.
forward to that. I love me a good, because
Yes, it's very good.
not to say it in that manner, but to frame it how Dr. Shirley explained it to me, you have to understand the box that you're in order to get out of it.
Shay.
So it's not to study to say, oh, that they're right, but it's to be aware, to gain awareness of the ways, and then being able to channel the goodness of that. So it's not what's happening to me, it's what's happening for me. Because once I understand it, I can then reclaim that narrative and pilot that ship how I would like. And as I was explaining, we are in the technological renaissance. People are not understanding where we are with technology in this specific point in time.
Mm,
And we need to be able to use those resources to our benefit, because it will become a point where it will be unbenefited. We may not have the same access that we have at this particular point of design. So
Shay.
I think it's imperative that we not only study where we've been, where we are, but where we intend to go. And
Yes.
that is a part of dreaming. That is a part of being radical. To even say, regardless of anything that I see, I have no reason to dream big, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because just in case I survive once again, everything that was meant to kill me, I think we need to have a plan.
You
Because
that part, because this book really tells the story of everything that's been a plan for over hundreds of years, with the whole, with 13 families that's supposed to be running this shebang. It's telling their story, and he was in house, he was an agent for years, and he saw what was happening, and his spirit would not allow him to participate in that any longer. So he wrote about it. And they tried to discredit him and say, oh, he's one of those
Right.
people, conspiracy theorists and things like that. But everything in this book is happening right now. And the thing is, love is the only thing that's going to get us out of this. It's not fighting a physical war, because it's not about fighting a physical war. It's about fighting an internal war and resisting the things that they have in place for us. So yes,
It's
that
very important that you said that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's what the
no,
government was scared of when the 70s and the 60s and all of that was going on. It was never the black militant that they were scared of. It was our ability to love despite everything that we've been through. Because even
shit.
when we look at white people, they look at us and say, "You ain't even as mad as you should have been." Because I'm not going to be. I still love you because I love me. And in you, I still see a part of me because I snake somebody down, but I don't want to. So that's the difference. It's not that we don't understand where you is and why you treat people like how you do. We look at our own community like that sometimes. But the difference is I see me in them. So I will never do them how you do us. Because I still see me in everything wrong that you done did because I done been wrong before. Knowledge is about perspective. I could be right today and wrong tomorrow. But I'm okay with both because the prerequisite for knowledge is to be ignorant. So in order for me to learn, I must not know. So go ahead and teach me because I want to be better. I'm not running from the iron. Black loves. Go
Say,
ahead and get you
and that's
some.
black. Yep. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself beyond your shortcomings, beyond your traumas. You gotta love yourself. Pouring into you, you gotta pour into you over and over and over again, and never get tired, never quit on you, because we are so worthy. We are so
And that's
worthy
how
of
you
so
know
many
it's
great,
in us
great
because
things.
our babies, despite
Yes,
everything these kids done gone through, they some of the most confident. And that's what they talk about even with this social media. You see these babies on the internet, you thought they was running down the runway and all. You see them in person, them babies is hurting, but they keep it up. They put a face on because even in our culture, and that's why I said some of the things that were made to hurt us were built in trauma are some of the most protective factors that we have. We are able to compartmentalize like no other because we grew up where you couldn't cry. That was a sign of weakness. So when they said shut it up and deal with it, we able to shut it up and still deal with it. Because at the end of the day, I know what I'm able to do. And once I get past the feeling of it, yeah, I can get back to dealing with my feelings, but I'm able to persevere. A lot of people gonna break down and they gotta cry right then and there. No, my grandmother and my mother and them said, shut it up, keep it going. And that's what I have the
yeah,
ability to do. And ain't no white man teach me that.
I
Sorry.
feel you, sis.
This hour goes by so fast.
I know,
So
I know. We're gonna end the
before I,
call. We're
I
gonna
had
have to
a
have
lot of
a part two.
questions. Okay, so I've been sharing something that you said to me, Candace, the other day. And I think today we disproved it because I was having some doubts and um I was thinking way ahead and visualizing roadblocks to things. And Candace said to me, "You have answers to questions that you haven't even asked." However, today you have answered questions that I haven't asked because I was going to ask it and you've answered them. Um, you answered a lot of the questions without me asking. I love it. I love when it flows that way. So, one final important question is, what would you recommend someone do to bring joy into their life, create space for joy, or even share one of your practices? And if you have an opportunity, I know Abudakai, you have some offerings. I don't know what's offered out, and how people would connect with you if they want to learn more about some of these practices.
Okay. I'll go before Candace because I know she's gonna come with the fire. So I've been fasting, so my fire is kind of low. um, my heat is like smoldering a little bit, but I love her. I love her energy. I love your energy, sis. It's beautiful and knowledgeable. So for me, I have a lot of fire, and I just got out of a 3 hour bath, so my energy is like this. It's not hot. It's kind of like, just keeping it warm, right? So one of the things I have to stay in water. That's one of my favorite elements, and I have to breathe. And if you think about it, we're 75% water. And, if it wasn't for air, we wouldn't be here. So water and air created an air bubble in which we all came from. We all started out as an air bubble. So that's water and that's air. Those two elements are so healing, along with fire and earth, because our body is the physical manifestation of who we are that holds our spirit, which is the breath, the air, right? And then you have so then you have the ether, which is the spirit. And so that my spirit is what you hear. You can't see my spirit. You just see my physical body. So what I noticed when we tap into the elements, we are resilient in our outer lives. The more we tap into nature and things that are natural and things that are healing, the more we heal, the better we are. So water and air, breathing properly, when you're heated, you get a little, antsy or anxious, you want to breathe, tap into that breath. And it's like, okay, yeah, I hear you, but let me just take a moment, for myself. That's loving you, so that you're not reacting to somebody else's energy or any other entity. Going within in the bath, in the water. People say, "Oh, I take showers." No, but it's nothing like immersing the whole body into a ocean or a river. So the next best thing is a bath. And you can put your rocks you get from seashells and stuff you get from the ocean and river. You can play hertz, which is sound, which is ether. You could play hertz and heat that water up and stimulate that water, bring it back to life. You could put your rocks in there, your crystals in there. You could put your essential oils in there to make the water live, so that when you get in there and you speak into that water, because water has intelligence, right? We can speak whatever we want into that water and pull off and slough off all those things that no longer serve us. And when we open that drain, all of that stuff goes down the drain, never to return, but to take you next level. So there's always going to be a level to live up to, or a level to requalify yourself. So I tell most of my students to get comfortable with unfolding, because we're going to be unfolding until breath leaves our body. So it's a constant taking baths for me, eating properly, eating the superfoods, because I know the foods aren't any good. The foods are designed to depress us and to keep us stuck somewhere. It keeps energy stuck in our body. It creates diseases or disorders. And so we have to push past that, and we may have to take on drinking some okra water, which I recently started drinking, and people like, ill, and I was one of those ill people. We got to push past that and say, well, let me try it, because if you look at something and you never tried it, it may not be as bad as you think. So taking a bath, making sure I keep my my wits about me, my heat level, so that I could think clearly. I'm eating and I'm taking in all the minerals to feed my brain, to feed my heart, to feed my cells, to feed all of my organs, because I love me. I love me. And nobody's going to take care of me the way I'm going to take care of me. So I love me first. And I will tell you, no, let me love me first. No is a word superpower for me. It didn't used to be. I was a yes woman for a long time. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I can do that. I don't do that anymore. I'd be like, did you wake up this morning and do your meditation with Sister Keisha? Did you do your bath last night? Did you didn't do those things? And I can't go days without doing that, because I have to be elevated and I have to be strong and I have to be wise for myself first, but for my sisters in my community second, my family second. I can't do nothing for you if I don't do it for myself first. And a lot of us, we give until we give out. We can no longer afford that. We cannot afford that, especially right now with the way things are unfolding in the world. You have to take care of you first. You have to make sure you're putting the right minerals and vitamins or whatever you choose to heal yourself and heal your organs. Put that in your body. You have to make sure that you're interacting daily with nature. Even if you have house plants around your house, talk to them. They'll talk back. You have to make sure you tapping into your ancestors every day. If you don't do nothing else, tap into your ancestors and the God of your understanding every day. You have to do something every day to keep your spirit elevated, or you will fall prey to all of the illness, all of the chaos, all of the disorder, all of the dis-ease, which is there so that we could stand on it and do our work in the first place. And with that, I'm complete.
Hey, thanks. Thank you for that medicine.
Oh, and I will give you my credentials that you could place or put in the chat as well, Sister Keisha. Give thanks.
'Cause- Are you putting it in the chat? I see you put your glasses on.
I'll get ready to. Yeah,
Oh, okay, I was waiting
I'm
for you.
getting ready to. Yes.
But I saw you put your
Oh,
glasses on, so I said
got
you
you.
must be doing it.
Yes,
Okay.
I had to put my glasses on. So I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok as Bath Box Detox.
I'm a TikTok girly. I don't got no Facebook, no Instagram, or nothing.
I
I'm
Okay.
definitely gonna follow
know,
you.
I know. I was like, where is she?
The Facebook I got is from like way long ago, but and I can't even delete it. They won't even let me. I've sent my IDs several times. At this point, I think they just want my account just to be there because yeah. Oh, let me not go off on a tangent, but I hope you all know that social media was constructed actually as a life program to monitor people throughout their entire lives for them to upload information. So when you think you're just sharing cute little pictures with your friends and your family, no, the government is watching you. They watch everything you do.
Watch everything.
Candace, you about to get me banned. They about to delete
Just
my
say they
account.
gonna snatch us off Zoom. The FBI ain't gonna be outside the house. I be telling them, listen, this is always my disclaimer. Government, I ain't got no problem with you. I just want to mind my business. Let me be. Please,
I
please.
did.
That's all. I'm just me. Just me.
You want to see your account get deleted. That's how you get your account deleted.
Yeah, you have to be like I go in there like I'm an airhead sometimes. Like I don't know what I know. And for the record, I'm always open to learning more because I think that that's what's missing. And they have so many people that have different things. You just have to, healing things that information that we need to elevate ourselves. It's not even just me, but I'm more practitioner, application. I'm more hands-on because there's a lot of things that we could tap into to heal ourselves, to elevate our mental, physical, and emotional body, elevate our frequency. More importantly, I'm really a big on frequencies because I understand from this book, I understand that we're in a frequency war, and that has to do with everything because everything has is a frequency, everything has a vibration. And so when you understand how frequency and vibrations work and that we are frequency, living and breathing manifestation of energy, we're a ball of energy. When you know how to maneuver that, and it's all elemental, everything is elemental, everything, is. And so when we tap into the elements, that's when we get our greatest and biggest boost. So yeah, and it's all, some things you can feel, some things you see, most things we see. We're more physical, we're into seeing everything, but our power resides in our ability to be still. It is in the darkness, like Sister Candace was speaking about. It's in the darkness where the love is. The love is in the darkness. When we get still enough to be able to hear what we need to be doing and not doing. And the only way that you'll get there is to eliminate, to cleanse, to flush out our organs and take in more natural things and be in nature and support and thrive in nature as much as possible. Like that's where our superpowers are. To love ourselves that much that we say we're going to do something every day that will allow us to raise our vibration and our frequency. I'm 62. I'll be 63 in another month, and people be like, "No, you're not." Yes, I am. I love me, like, and I'm loving you. I'm loving you too. I'm not telling you anything that I don't do for myself. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I could be here in this capacity because we can do that. And if we don't slow down and pay attention because we're so all outside of ourselves, we over here, we over there. No, we gotta center, go into the darkness, close our eyes, breathe. That's where we get our uploads from so that we'll know what to do and what not to do and how to maneuver in this low frequency environment. That's where our medicine is. That's where real medicine is. And you ain't got to pay a lot of money for it. It's free to breathe properly. It's free to run a bathtub of water. It's free. But it seems like the easy things we resist. And that's the program. That's the programming. Oh, that don't work. That's too easy. Mm-mm. We want everything hard, challenging, and that happens too. But when you sit in the bath and you're going through something, it's different when you get out. You thinking differently. You know, when you're breathing through something, or hugging a tree, or just grounding yourself, it's different. You think different. You feel different. You can make better decisions. You can maneuver your life a lot better. Your character building, you're building your integrity and all of that while you're detoxing and fasting. You're disciplining, you're feeling good about yourself. It's like I can do anything now. I could attack. And then not to mention your frequency is so high that no soon when you speak something, it happens. The people, the places, the things, it comes quick when you're vibrating higher. And that's a book too that's really good. Um, so yeah, with that said, I think I'm complete.
Before we go on, I do want to just jump on something that you said and part of the work that I do in terms of my suggestion is that pause, right? That pause and tapping in and for me it's being present. Um I can find something joyful in this very moment. It's not about what happened earlier today. It's not about what I have to do tomorrow. Like right now, I can find something to be joyful about right now in this moment. So for me, it's about being present. And some of it, is what you said. I love nature, so I will go to the park or near the river and I will just look at some flowers and I find joy in being able to do that. I find joy in looking at the ducks just waddling in the river and just being able to sit and do that, it's a privilege, it's a blessing. And when I start thinking about all the noise, I just have to sort of like pull back and slow down and just be happy and joyful about what is here. What is here. Yeah. So that's my suggestion. I want to invite Candace and also the other women on the call. If you want to share something as well, please feel free to do so. Candace, are you ready?
Yes, I think for me, I'm still kind of in the early stages of experiencing my joy intentionally. And then one of the first steps I have taken or have been taken is that very much required no that you said, because as you stated, like a lot of my life, I've been feeling compelled to fix things because I had the capacity to fix things. So it's like, okay, I know I can do it. So I should just be the one to do it, just taking on anything that I went by. And I didn't realize how much of a toll that was taking on me because it didn't seem inconvenient in the moment. It just seemed like another thing that I could do. But second by second, I was giving my time away to other people, no time for myself. Now I'm angry with the kids when I come in because I got all these different things I got going on. And a part of my joy has been like saying no. And not that I find it like funny or makes me happy. It's just like me affirming to myself that I am okay enough to say no. Like I don't have to prove myself. I don't have to perform myself. If I don't do it, I trust that God will still get it done. He didn't create me to fill all the gaps in the world. So let me focus on the gaps that I have the capacity to fill in this moment. And that's the gaps for me because that's what I can
Shit.
hold true to. So I've been doing that maybe for about the last 4 years. And I'm saying years because it took time for me to kind of get comfortable in that. First, it kind of starts with the distant people, your co-workers and all of them. Then it kind of starts with your family that you don't really talk to. I'm comfortable telling them, oh, I don't want to go to the cookout today, or I don't want to do the family reunion. You know what I mean? I used to feel bad about that. Then it kind of got with the friends, like, okay, girl, y'all fun to be around, but I'm not trying to sit outside. I don't want to do that. Actually, I hate it here. If you ain't nobody got no money, we all got to just, oh no, I want to be intentional when I go out. If it's not a plan, an itinerary, a place that we pulling up, expected stuff that we doing, I'm okay with saying no. I'm not the hangout person no more. Not because I don't value my time. It's because I do value my time. Like that's fun, but that's not the fun I'm trying to have. I want to have my fun out the country. I want to go on different beaches, islands. I want to see the world. So just being more intentional with the opportunities that I'm trying to facilitate joy for myself. So being okay with missing the fun now to have the fun later kind of thing. So being able to be first, as you stated, present enough for that because it's not me thinking about, oh, how they're going to feel after I say this or, oh, what's going to happen if I miss this opportunity. It's like, no, I'm okay enough in this moment to say no. And I'm still lovable enough that you're going to want to work with me later, even if I say no now. And it's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. So that has been a very joyous process. But like you said, it's a journey for me because I'm still becoming that person, actualizing that. First, it was the thought, me thinking that, okay, this is something I'm going to have to do, but being able to actually implement it in a way that's feasible for me. It's not overwhelming. It's not like I'm the mean person now. It's just, nope, I actually can't do that. Even if I can, I just can't do that. So that has been the process of the journey of identifying and protecting the joy that I'm trying to cultivate for myself.
Yes, yes, that's come up a few times today, and the way I describe it is really being in touch with your purpose and choosing what's aligned with your purpose. So it's not so much that you're saying no to the things, you're saying yes to what's aligned with you. And if it's not aligned, then it's it's not, there's no place for it, right? Yeah. Does anybody else want to share any suggestions or anything, any questions? I was hoping
First,
you'd
I
go
want to
on, Z.
say just how wonderful this hour has been listening to you guys and just being mesmerized by what you had to say. And I find it so funny that I think it was Thursday that I put on like one of my social media things that every no that you say opens up a chance for more aligned yes. And so to me, that's joy, you know, allowing for yourself to choose yourself in whatever moment you're in. And one of the things that I'd like to do is I have what I call a joy jar. And every time something happens that I find, a great win for myself or just something that made me happy or whatever, I write it down on a slip of paper and I put it in my joy jar. I
Oh,
used to
that's
put coins in there. Now I put my my little slips of paper in there.
like that.
And then sometimes, we all hit it like a downtime where we think, oh, well, this isn't working or that's not going right. I open up my joy jar and I start looking at some of the things that happened that really made me happy. And for me, that's very inspiring to just say, okay, well, whatever this temporary thing is, this too shall pass, and I'll be back on to living more joyfully and more intentionally, you know, and just let it go. So that's my one official joy practice that I share with you. I just again thank you
Thanks for sharing that.
for all you've said today, and I'm so glad I was able to join you for this
I'm
this
glad
hour
you're
of
here,
leadership.
and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to ask you to share how you can use creative expression writing um in terms of your joy, because that's something that you do and you teach people how to do.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I think one of the things that does bring me great joy is writing. And I was just saying this to someone yesterday. So, but this must all be in divine purpose over here. Is that one of the best ways to inspire yourself to write is to read your own writing, and not with the critical eye, not with that internal editor that's going to say, well, put the comma here and it should have been there, but read it like you never saw it before. And you will find so much to appreciate in what you have written when you look at it like somebody else is reading it. And whenever I get stuck writing, that's exactly what I do. I take out my books, I read them again, and you find so much joy in your own creative expression, and that you have to be able to turn off that internal editor that wants to critique everything that you say and everything that you do and the way you said it, and maybe you should have put it here or whatever, because you know that is the anti creative voice. That's the perfectionism voice that says if your writing isn't just so, then it's imperfect and it's no good. So you want to turn all that off. Whereas one person said you need to write with fire and edit with ice. You can always go back and change it, but allow that fire that's within you, that creative spark, to really just go ablaze when you're writing, and then go back and look at it. Then you can always go back and rein yourself in if you need to, or change or correct or whatever. But you want your passion to show in your writing, in whatever kind of creative expression you have, whether it's writing, whether it's dancing, because I also do dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's, which I do very badly, whatever it is that you're doing, do it with all your passion. It's like the hokey pokey, put your whole self in and enjoy yourself, because that's really one of the things that can bring joy to your life, is doing the things that you love, and doing them to the best of your ability or not the best of your ability, or just allowing yourself to enjoy who you are at your creative best and worst, and just let it flow. And that's
Ashe.
that's
Thank
what I
you.
teach about creative expression. And thank you for asking, Keisha.
Thank you. Anything else before we end the call today? It's been so beautiful. I've gotten so much. I do this because it also nurtures me. Part of it is that I do want to build community and I want people to be connected. And I love when I have people from different aspects of my life and my journey that come together on the call. And so that part I love. I just love seeing that. And then also, it helps me connect with you all more as well. There was, I was sharing briefly, not in detail with the Budokai, but that a lot of times people are friends in my head. Like Wendy Williams used to say back in the day, like the celebrities are friends in her head, and she'll watch them and you see them, but in her mind they're her friends, but they don't know anything because she's never contacted them or whatever else. So I feel like this is an opportunity for us to really develop our relationships as well. So thank you for coming on. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Cassandra. It's not obligatory, but I want to make sure we give you space.
No, I absolutely want to say thank you so much for these pearls of wisdom. And they're also reminders. And like you said, the universe is really aligned when you get these nuggets, because um, it's a reminder to trust your instincts. Like, you were talking about the okra water, self reflection, all these different little, be present. These are very easy, free things that we could do, or low cost things that we could do. Like, I hated okra with a passion, even. And then when I realized it was one of the rare crops that came from our diaspora from Africa, I tried to like it a little more, just because, but I still hated it all my life. But like now I'm going through premenopause, and it's exactly what you said with the superfoods, right? So many things that help us are from our culture that we grew up with, and it's like we have to remember. And being in nature, even in urban areas, there's beauty everywhere, there's nature there, so it's like all coming together. And it's just like, thank you so much. We need to have these conversations more in our community. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to share.
We appreciate you for being here and sharing with us.
Give thanks.
So if there's nothing else, any final words? I love being here with you all, but I know we do have to go at some point.
Well, I would just say simplify your life, simplify your diet, do things that make you happy, that make you feel good about you, whether it's writing, whether it's sewing, whether it's dancing, because I love to dance. I am a big house head. And people's like, you still go to the club? I was like, yes, I go to the park and I dance. I take my little girl out because we all have that little girl, right? Within,
Hmm.
you want to tap into her more. She likes to have fun. She may like different things, but mine's like to go dancing. And I love creating. I love painting. I love clothing. I do things that I love makeup. I love hair. These are things that make me happy. So do what makes you happy. Do what brings joy to you. Do it more, more and more. The more you do it, the more balanced you become, and you're able to receive and do things that maybe you wouldn't normally do, like drink okra water, because I was not a big okra water fan, but now I am, and that was recent. So that's my share for now, and I appreciate once again, Keisha, you inviting me on, and nice meeting you, Candace. I really enjoyed you as well. And with that,
Likewise, thank you for this opportunity as well. It's been a pleasure to be amongst amazing women such as yourself.
yes, I might have to get your
On a
number,
fun day
Candace.
to
Do you want to share your socials as well, in the chat or out loud for the people that are watching on Facebook and Instagram? I think you all have amazing work that you do. I know we shared about Akaya's
Yeah.
social medias. I also put it in the Facebook chat. I don't know if there's anything else
I
you want to share.
I didn't put my hair stuff in there, but I put my bath box detox on there because
Okay.
it's very inspiring. So you'll find inspirational articles, confirmations on there. Um, so and I also put my number in the chat. You can reach me at 646-271-8500. That's 646-271-8500. I do 5 day raw food challenge every month is free of charge, and then every season I do 3 day water fast, and that's free of charge. All I ask is for love offering donation, or if I have products as well. So if you want to purchase products, you can purchase products. But these are some of the things that I'm doing to show people how to cleanse and detox properly. And then I have the baths from the bath box detox, which is a seasonal and private thing that I do. But I also do group baths, private baths. I can't see your stuff. You can't see my stuff, but it's virtual water meditation. So you're in the water. I'm taking you through this beautiful meditation, affirmation, breathwork session, and you will feel liberated afterwards. You will feel free. You will feel very light after each bath. And I encourage people to do more and more baths. If you don't have a bathtub, you can use a foot soak, or you could order a portable bath. But they're taking bathtubs out of these new homes and apartments. You want to immerse your body as much as possible. If you're not near a river or a ocean, you want to take more baths because that's going to help to balance you mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. You'll be able to think clearer and everything. And drinking more water is also key too. Real water, living water, if you can. So with that said, I'm complete.
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. And if you're not already, like, follow, subscribe to the Wellness Connection LLC. We can continue the conversation. And we have our Facebook group, Wellness Warriors, as well. Thank you
share.
again for being here. Until
Thank
next
you again for having us.
time.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Peace and blessings.
For sure.